Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellie, and my husband and I have decided to take our boys to Universal. We have seasonal tickets, so we went ahead and booked our last trip for the year. We drove down to Orlando, and considering that it's still COVID, there were some precautions that were definitely taken. There weren't as many crowds, people were wearing masks, but they had restrictions on how many people could get into the park. So we got up early and went as soon as the parks opened. And as you know, if you've been to Universal, the lines are usually insane, which was not the case this time around. There's Despicable Me on the left for all of the Minion lovers. And Shrek. This is not a ride, so we don't normally go because the boys are more into rides, but it's still something very interesting to see. Transformers in the white building and the back of Shrek. Little snack cafe in Jimmy Fallon to the left. We went 4 consecutive times because we really do enjoy it. There was the parade. It's a small one. This time we weren't allowed to take, we were allowed to take pictures, but we're not allowed to converse and hug and go visit with all of the characters. But you still got to enjoy the parade from far away. Transformers, that's one of our favorite rides in Universal Studios. Once you get in, you have to distance yourself 6 feet apart from everybody. So even though there weren't as many people as usual, the lines were about the same since you weren't allowed to ride in the same cabin or the same space with everybody else, and it was just you and your party. So it took a little bit longer, but there were TVs and kept the boys busy throughout the whole time. Different aspects of the movie, introduction to what Transformers are about, and that's with every ride. So even if you're not familiar with the ride, you get a really good idea of what to expect once you get in. Once we got out of Transformers, we're heading to the Harry Potter area. But we stopped to see this band on the left side. As you will see in a second, they were playing what resembled drums. They were using buckets, and it was really intriguing. There's the big roller coaster, which we did not go on. We had to stop for a little snack, and for all of our raw vegan friends, we just had packed all of our food from home. Normally you can find fruit, but this time they didn't have a lot of options, so we just packed things from the hotel. We stopped at the store. We got a bunch of bananas and tangerines and things that we can actually bring into the park. And I washed a bunch of grapes and persimmons, so blueberries, that got us through the day. And we had some leftovers for the following day. We made a couple of trips to the store, but for anybody else, vegan, keto, gluten-free, there are plenty of options in the resort. We always go to see the shark. The boys are obsessed with the shark. And on the other side, you can see the Simpson ride. Once we left the shark, we went to see how long the line for Fast and Furious was, but that was a little bit over 2 hours and we did not want to wait that long. We all have done it, but it's a really nice ride. However, we didn't want to spend the time waiting. That's the exit from the ride. There are some super cool cars, and if you guys want me to, I can post some pictures in the comments or the description below for you to see, because once you walk in through the entrance of Fast and Furious, there are a bunch of cars, and it's really intriguing, especially if you have little boys or a Fast and Furious fan. We're walking to Harry Potter to see if we meet the height requirements, because normally neither one of the boys meets the requirements. I think it's 48 inches for that ride. On the way, we seen the telephone. That's part of the Harry Potter book series, and you're supposed to dial a number and someone picks up and you talk to them. This is Diagon Alley, or I think that's what it was called. It's been a while since I've brushed up on my Harry Potter. The bus had a little head and was talking to the boys. They were really confused where someone was talking to them and they couldn't see them. So we're walking into the Harry Potter section of the Universal Studios. Can barely see it. The first time we went to Universal, we completely missed it. But once you get in there, it's a pretty large place and it's done immaculately. Everything to the T is from the books. You can see the big dragon, and that's where the big roller coaster is that we couldn't get on. And normally this would be a very, very, very packed area. Most of the times that we have been to Universal, you're not able to walk around freely. There's so many people. But luckily this time there weren't that many people at all. The line was still pretty big though. The wait time I think was 90 minutes when we went the first time. We're there for 5 days, and each time we went, it was about 90 minutes. I wanted to ride the ride by myself as a single rider, but they're not allowing that right now on certain rides. And as you can see, everything is done as if it's from the book. And we are exiting out and continuing on with the next rides that are available. And you can always check on your app that Universal has and see the lines at certain places, and you can kind of play around and map your day out according to that as well. Next place that wasn't too busy for us was Men in Black. So we were heading out that way. The boys enjoy Men in Black a lot because they get little guns on the ride and they get to shoot the little aliens. So there's little aliens like you see right now, and those aliens were talking to one another. It was done really well. They were having coffee and complaining about their work days and how bad their bosses were. And then once you walk past that, you can see the area, if you have seen Men in Black, where they're working. Have the aliens that are actually talking. There is music the whole time. And of course, the boys are fascinated with all of the guns and equipment. The line was moving pretty fast, and they were not happy that they didn't see everything in detail, so we had to go back, turn around, and do it once again. Once we got out of Men in Black, the next ride that didn't have a long waiting list was The Simpsons. Boys did not know what to do with that phone, but they were trying. It was not working, obviously. And back to the Simpson ride. We were actually all able to ride. So it's 42 inches, and this is Alexander's first time able to ride on the ride. So he was excited about being able to get in there because Braden always tells him how awesome the ride is, and he really enjoys it. Once the line was done, we were in a little waiting area, waiting to get in, and there was those funny mirrors, and Braden has to be super silly. We spent about 5 minutes in a waiting room, so it was something to do. Universal have definitely thought of the little details, especially when you're traveling with children, and there is parent swap, which was so helpful for the days that Alexander was younger and Braden was able to do most of the rides. We're walking back to the kids zone. Normally there is a lot of playgrounds. This is one of Alexander's favorite places, but due to COVID, the playgrounds were actually closed. So they're interactive playgrounds, and I wish we were able to make a video about them, but unfortunately we'd have to wait until next time. Back here there is E.T. and also Woody the Woodpecker ride. There's something wrong with that ride at the moment, so we were not able to ride it, but we did go to E.T. and that was our first time. Normally by the time we get all the way around the park, E.T. has so many people, but it was definitely worth it. It was one of those colorful rides that's based on the story or the movie, and Alex got a little E.T. for himself. He was super happy about him. Pretended that he's a baby and took care of him. We're making our way out. We have a couple more things to see, but this is pretty much it. You can see where the Bourne project is. There were some pretty cool, unique, antique cars, and the boys were really intrigued with that yellow one. The theater to the left, and for as many years we have been coming to Universal, not much has changed. The attention to detail is spectacular. You can see the stars with people's names on them. And the Simpson truck. Again, you can't go play with them and touch them and hug them, but you can take pictures with them if they're out. That was the only person that was out that whole entire day that were there, and the rest of the days as well. Bourne was pretty cool. We had never done that before, but there was absolutely no line, so we got in there and watched the show. It was fighting, and the boys loved that. Alex had to take a picture with Hello Kitty because his cousin loves Hello Kitty, so we had to show him to her. And we are exiting the park. Once you come out through the exit, you can see the Universal World, whole globe thing, and that's really cool. It turns around, and normally there's a lot of crowds taking pictures in front of it, but this time, like I said, there wasn't anybody there. You have the Voodoo Donut right outside in that area. Not that we eat donuts, but pretty coolly made. And finally, as before you walk out, there was this surf looking thing, and Alex really enjoyed it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video as much as we have, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and do that. Stay tuned for next week's video where I'll be posting the other park of Universal.